All right, today we're looking at Pentathlon Agility 2 from the 1 TDC UKI Invitational. This course was designed by Ashley Anderson, and there were a couple of things that I really wasn't sure about until I got on the course and got to look at where the obstacles were. And one of those things was this 4, 5, 6 situation. Knowing that I didn't want to get stuck behind the dog walk because I needed to make this 8, 9, 10 clear for sprint. So I wasn't sure if I would layer the number 6 jump while she was on the teeter or not. And I needed to work that out during the walkthrough itself. And then the other thing that I wasn't sure about until I got out there was which side of 16 I would actually run on, because on paper it almost looked like it would be fine to run dog on left and Q17 as a backside wrap. But then once it was built and we got down there, and I decided that it was actually a much better line to run dog on right and use our throttle wrap skills. There were also a lot of different options for handling 18, 19, 20 that I had to work out and think through. But primarily the most challenging line on this course, I think, was the opening line. A lot of dogs, because number 3 was the wall, and they were coming over and slicing. They weren't actually seeing the teeter, and a lot of them had to correct to get on the teeter, sprint included. So we're going to get a good look at that when we watch the video. But overall, my mindset going into this was like, I felt like we had all of the skills. The dog walk to weaves is one of her weaker skills, so I was accepting the fact that we might get a fault there, or I was kind of mentally prepared for a fault there. But everything else felt really comfortable. I had a little bit of concern about getting the correct jump out of number 10 and then also the correct side, right? This number 1 jump was quite visible to the dogs. I did see some dogs in the first rotation take that jump, and sprint does tend to go quite straight and seek obstacles out of tunnels. And I saw plenty of dogs turn too tight and take the front side of 11. So I really had to rehearse both in the walkthrough and mentally before the run that, have a little tunnel break, make sure that she has her head turned in the correct direction, and then cue the backside. So it was really, for me, the biggest reminder was to not overhandle there, give her the information that she needs, and then rely on good timing. All right, so here is the run. Unfortunately, the video missed the first jump, so we'll just start that over once more. And I think that this first few obstacles is worth watching in slow motion. So there's that slicing line I was talking about, and how they don't land on the line to the teeter. So this, I do think, was a little bit of my miscalculation of her line. I did think that she would go a little bit longer on 2 and have a straighter approach. Plus, I really didn't want to be on the other side of the teeter because of what the next sequence was asking of me. So this was both kind a miscalculation in her reality line on my part, and the rest of the course kind of keeping me wanting to move away from the teeter. So she was a fantastic, very good girl for finding the line to the teeter. At the moment, I kind of assumed her teeter performance was because she didn't have a super great approach to the teeter, and that was kind of some fallout of that. But when we look at her teeter performances during the whole event, we can pretty much assume that it wasn't an isolated event and that something bigger issue was going on with her teeter overall. But she was able to see the front cross before she went into the tunnel, so she actually comes out turning on a really great line, which I love to see. And so that commitment there was easy for her. And it meant that I was set up for this rear cross really easily. So here's the biggest surprise of the weekend for me. I still do not 100% understand why or how she found the finish jump over there. So my arm is very high because I'm rear crossing, but I need her to continue forward. But then when she's committing to the long jump here, I'm moving to her right and my arm is low again. The chest is turning. We can even see that her head is turned to the right. I have no reason to anticipate that anything is going wrong. But as she's landing, you can see that she sees this jump out of the corner of her eye and she grabs it. She 1000% thinks that she's correct. And we can tell by my reaction that I am 150% surprised. Unfortunately, this happened a few times at this event, so it did make the training list of things that I want to continue to prove and generalize and make sure doesn't happen again. And so I will be sharing those training sessions as well, and kind of updating everyone along the way as it develops, whether it comes back or shows itself again. But continuing on, here's that tunnel break. We didn't really, it was kind of hard, right? Because I just sent her with no motion. So I had to recalibrate like how much tunnel information she gets. But she comes out on a really nice line. So I cue the backside and we're good to go. She nailed this skill, gave me, I had like all that worry that I had about it during the walkthrough, kind of anticipating a fault there. She nailed it, which is, so validating that the training and the conditioning work that I've been doing is showing up in competition in the highest arousal setting I've ever put her in. So that's really cool to see. And then a very clearly cued throttle wrap. So, this was really important to see that, okay, I'm clearly cueing the throttle wrap here. My arm is close to my body and out in front because I'm sending her ahead of me. There's very obvious decel and some like backwards motion as I move away when she commits. So, I'm always looking for, was there anything in my body language that made her think about giving me that throttle wrap in the beginning of the course? And I really couldn't find anything in this particular instance. And then the front cross, I was really pleased that she did add a little collection stride there for me. And we did this course beautifully. There was no way I could have prepared for the off course that happened because she's not done that in a really long time. She did it once, maybe when she was about 2 years old in novice classes. And when she did it, 3 years ago, I kind of labeled it as like a frustration response, like I was late for something, so she went and offered something that she is good at and gets reinforced for. No different than tunnel sucking. But here in this instance, when I'm walking the dog's path, it did not occur to me that this could be an off-course potential because the evidence did not support that. So in this moment, I was truly laughing at her, thinking she's so silly, she's so confident, look how beautifully she performed this course. But then the rest of it was so amazing that I couldn't be anything but proud. And obviously the paper result is an E, which is definitely disappointing, so I'm not going to discount that, especially because this was the third pentathlon run, and now we have 2 E's in pentathlon. So that was feeling like a bummer competitively, but as far as our performance went, nothing but pride and just a little bit of humor at my girl's cleverness.